So Omega packs, these are always fun and something that I carry on my show when I can. Actually, I love these. So for those that don't know, these are the Omega collector packs that you can find in retail stores. You can find these in Best Buys, Targets, GameStops, Walmarts, things like that. So there's kind of like a little bit of history. I'll kind of run by that real quick. So really the first collector pack they threw in stores were these Throne of Eldraine. They're really the first official collector boxes in Magic, but this is what original Omegas were, blister packs, whatever you want to call them. These didn't last too long. I think they had these with Throne of Eldraine, then Ikoria, and Theros Beyond Death. Throne of Eldraine, Theros Beyond Death, then Ikoria. And the reason you don't see these in stores anymore for collector packs is basically what people would do is they would walk up to the counter, you know, like a self-checkout with like a stack of regular booster packs in the same blisters, or a stack of collector ones, I'm sorry, and one regular one, scan the regular one a bunch of times, take a bunch of collectors, and people were making out like bandits with those things. So that's how they started with these, and they slowly evolved. So people wonder why these huge packaging for one collector pack. It's because people were stealing them. That's basically what it is. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is basically why Omega packs are generally cost a little bit more, and why people pay a little bit more for them. So really simply, you have to think about the odds of what you're pulling. Now, going back to the original one, Throne of Eldraine. So for people that know, this set came out about 5 years ago, 2019-ish, whatever it was. I think it was fall 2019, so a little over 5 years ago. So these collector boxes, unfortunately, are kind of well, they're not kind of mappable, they are mappable. So the way these are, if anyone knows the famous term from, I think Rudy said it in Alpha Investments, was the clump zone. So if you open a box, if you had a collector box, the Throne of Eldraine collector packs, the hunt was for the borderless foils and the showcase foils. And basically every single box, very small variants, but basically every single box was 2 borderless foils, 2 showcase foils per box, and they're always clumped together. So if you were, say, a store owner, for, you know, this camera's a little off. I'm going to adjust this mid-video. Why not? So basically, if you were, let's say you were a scumbag seller and you were a store owner and you really just didn't care about other people at all, you would open the packs, you'd get to the first borderless foil, you pull a second borderless foil, and maybe the showcase is right after it, and you'd sell the rest of the packs, and nobody else would get anything good out of them. You might get some good pulls, but you're not going to get those really, like the borderless foil Great Henge, you know, the Brazen Borrowers, the really good hits that people were hoping for. So when you open these Omegas, all of that mapping goes out the window. These are random loose packs off the production line. They put them in these blisters, and then there you go. So you can't map these. That's why I really like these. I bought these specifically. It was a case of 120, so it was 10 boxes worth, but totally randomized. So the thought process is any one random pack could be any one random thing. Actually, I want to say like the first or second pack we opened from this case of 120 was actually a borderless foil Great Henge. I think we got 2 in this case so far. It's almost done. But 0 Oko Thief of Crowns. 0. That's the variance too. But the nice thing is if you're buying one pack and you can get like the same price, say for an Omega or a regular collector at your store, then you actually want to go with these. Like for example, Double Masters 2022 collectors. Again, these are those huge boxes that that they got. Crazy amount of packaging, total waste. I mean, they're huge, and it's just one pack. These, I believe, these were 4-pack the regular boxes, 4-pack collector boxes, 8 boxes per case, 32 packs in a case of Double Masters 2022. And I'm pretty sure there was textured foils in that set, and I'm pretty sure it was only 1 per case. So, for example, if you're opening an entire case of Double Masters 2022 and you're looking for the textured foils, you're only going to get 1 in the entire case. The difference is if you open this one random Omega pack, it could be a textured foil. The odds of it being a textured foil, 1 in 32. But, you know, it's like if you flip a coin. If you flip a coin and, you know, you flip it twice, you could get heads twice. You could get tails twice. It doesn't have to be 50%. As you open more and the sample size gets larger, you will actually get closer to that 50%. So if you open one of these, it could be anything. Could be a textured card, could not be. If you open, say, 300, you'll probably get closer to that odds of, you know, 1 in 32 packs being a textured card in the, you know, law of large numbers. Again, next one, same thing. Foundations, this one just came out recently. Every box had, 1 mana foil, 1 mana foil, and then, you know, the fractures and things like that. Like, those are a lot harder. But like, say you want to get a mana foil in a box, you're basically guaranteed to get 1. Could be a small variance. On a rare occasion, maybe you get 0. On a rare occasion, maybe you get 2. But let's say you get 1 per 12. Again, you open 1 pack, the odds completely go out the window. That's what's nice about them. So if you're only planning on opening 1 pack for fun, you can get the price similar to a regular pack, versus the Omegas, which again, these are more expensive. You're better off doing that. Again, you wouldn't open 12 of these. You just buy a box, then you're kind of guaranteed. So the way you have to think about it is if you you have to look at the ceilings and the floors when you're looking at Omegas. Basically how it is again, look at like foundations or something like that. If you're basically guaranteed 1 mana foil in a box, that's your ceiling and your floor. It's basically the same. But if you were to get 12 of these, technically speaking, your floor is still 0 because you could hit 0, but your ceiling is now 12. I mean, you could hit those because it is totally randomized. So if you like that, taking the numbers out of it and taking the odds out of it and like kind of the ceiling, this is the way to go. Again, if you're opening Omegas, your floor is only 1 less big hit, but your ceiling skyrockets even more. These are actually, I only have a few Omegas on me. I don't have many more. These are actually the Doctor Who ones. The one I actually pulled 1 time for myself on camera, got a serialized card. And actually, in the past 2 weeks, I think, maybe 3 weeks, we've actually pulled 4 serialized out of these. These are from Amazon. Amazon does these, I think they started doing this like a year or 2 ago, where instead of actually just giving you like a loose pack, where they'd send you just like a random loose pack in the mail, it's got this nice packaging. They're protected, they're sealed, so you know that they're good, they're not messed with. But again, it just proves the fact that they're totally randomized. We had kind of a little bit better of a sample size a few weeks ago, where I had one customer buy 77 of these in 1 shot, and we opened 77 in a row. Now, we only got 1 serialized out of that. It was one of the third doctors. But I don't know. I was trying to look up what the odds were for these. I know there were a little worse. What was there? There's 13 doctors, 500, 501, 502, so on and so forth. So there's, what was it, like 8,500-ish serialized cards. So it's probably like 1 per case, 1 per 72 packs. So that sample size of 77, it's not realistic to figure out if that was, like good luck getting 1 or not. Honestly, I always said if we get 1, like I'm cool with that. But you have to think about it that way as far as the odds. And again, if you're opening 1 pack, I would go with Omegas. And that's why you see, if you look on like a TCG player at eBay, for example, when these first come out, pretty much not these, but this was a standard, well, it is actually standard legal, but this is like a standard style set. So when these came out, you can get them at big box stores for like $26.99, $27.99. So with tax, call it like $28, whatever it is. Call it like $28. Your store, probably $23, $25. So you're paying a little bit more. If you look at the price, say like a TCG player on like a loose Foundations pack on like a TCG player, for these, I think they're like 40, but the Omegas are probably like pushing 50, 55. Go to something crazier. You go to like a Lord of the Rings special edition. We just cracked this box open this morning. So if you look at one of these, I think the going right now for a pack on TCG player, a loose pack, not an Omega, just a loose pack from a box or wherever it came from, 150, 155. The Omegas are 300. And there's a reason for that. As these things get rarer, people don't want to get loose packs that are probably searched. Again, you have to assume that anytime you buy a loose pack on eBay or TCG player, if it's not from a good source, that's probably not searched as ripped open, gone through, resealed, all that. But as far as did they hit the big hit in the box in the store, or did that collector have it in the first pack hit a big hit and then sell the rest? Maybe. Not too long ago on my stream, actually someone bought an entire box. So I said, all right, let's rip the whole thing and see what happens. We opened it up. First pack was the 11 of 100 Sauron. I put this the clip on my on the channel. And so does it mean that you can't get another serialized card in that pack? No, there could be, but the odds are probably incredibly low. Like the actual, like the the way the packs are, the serialized are put in the packs and put in the machine and all that and put in the boxes, like chances are it's not in there. But there's still gonna be some good stuff in there. Who knows? Could be other poster cards, could be foil ring poster cards that are worth a lot of money. But if you want a serialized card, you're not going to want to rip through that and probably not going to find anymore. So it's a good thing to consider. It's a good thing to keep an eye on. Generally speaking, when new sets come out, I keep my eye on Omegas. I look at the big box stores, honestly. I believe these actually came from GameStop. These were from a store. These are from Amazon. I look at those, and it's kind of one of those things where you can see within a couple months of the set being released, the Omegas go up, especially if it's a good set, especially if serialized cards. I don't have a lot. Like I said, I have these only 4 Omegas. That's it. I mean, I would carry more if I could. They take up a lot of room. Like these come in a case of 30, and it's a huge box. It's a lot. You don't want a bunch of those. Whereas a box of 12 is just a small thing. But I always on release keep my eyes out on the movement of the set, movement of the products, and see how it's going. Because if it's a good set and I really like it, especially if it's serialized cards, I'm probably going to buy some Omegas and have them set aside. And it doesn't take long for the supply to run out, especially in big box stores. Again, Best Buys, the Targets, the Walmarts, the GameStops, those are the big ones. Once they run out, they're gone. That's where these big ones come from, and they do slowly creep up over time. I love these. I bought a lot of these from GameStop, pretty much on release. I bought like a shitload of them, and I've still got a bunch, and we slowly sell them on the stream, and it ended up working out pretty good. Again, I paid like the straight up like $28 a piece, and I have them, and they slowly go up over time. I remember actually the Fallout ones, Fallout Omegas and Lord of the Rings Special Edition Omegas. I actually went really hard on them. At one point, I think I had about 100 Fallout Omega packs, which is about 9 boxes or so. Lord of the Rings, I think I had like 50 or 60. And I mean, this is back when those like Lord of the Rings boxes were 350, 400. And we did them, we cracked them open. We had a good time with them. Now, again, they're $300 a piece. Like that's like a 10x the price. It's absolutely insane. I didn't keep any. I sold them all. Generally speaking, I don't keep that kind of stuff sealed. I buy it for the show and I sell it. But it's food for thought. Again, my recommendation is if you like the randomness and you don't have to worry about being mapped, as long as it's from a good source, usually there's a seal on here. I recommend them. Especially like I said, when I was getting these, I was super happy with it. Like I wouldn't sell regular boxes of Throne of Eldraine Collector on my show because once you hit those 2 borderless foil cards, the 2 showcase foil cards, the box isn't dead, but you're not gonna get any super good hits like the borderless foil Great Henge or borderless foil Oko or things like that. So food for thought. People ask on my show because I'm making this video because I do have like Double Masters 2022 collectors for a certain price and the Omegas for another price, and they're a little bit more. So people ask me what's the difference, why are they different prices, and what does it mean? People don't really know. So hopefully this explains it for people. So you're going to pay a little bit more for the Omegas, but honestly, if the box that the regular ones came out of, like already his serialized card or a mana foil or a textured, then go for the Omega. Spend a couple extra bucks and you got again, odds go out the window for 1 pack. You can enjoy it and have fun, hopefully get something good. So that's it. See you guys later.